All right. Welcome, Bears. Good morning. Hey, it looks like it actually works. That's flippin' fantastic. That's wonderful. All right. So, let me make this chat pop to where I can see it. Cool. So, I think I finally made the silly little soundboard cooperate with me for once. That was wonderful. All right. Awesome. Yeah, some of my music when I write it in Guitar Center, not Guitar Center, that's not what I meant to say, GarageBand, ends up sounding a little bit like video game related music. It's a little bit silly, but it's how I get it started. Give me one moment here. I'm going to bring you guys around, and I think this angle will be a little better. Love this professional quality show here. It's all good. Let's see how I'm going to do this. I didn't plan that at all. But I did get something working. All right. Welcome to a slightly new setup here in the basement studio. I have you guys nicely positioned by my drum kit now, and I've got some lighting set up just a little bit better. I've actually got you guys set up on a timbali. I'm going to knock my rudiments poster. Yeah, I've got a little drum hooked up on top of my bass drum, so I can just set the laptop right there, and I could probably do this live as well and do things from here and still have a nice setup. I mean, you can see if I go like this, you're literally right on the drum kit. It's kind of funny. So, I dig it. What's happening, guys? Good to see you. All y'all. Yeah, Big Drum Bear coming in a little late here. An hour later, almost. Let's see. Let's get to the bottom of this chat. Make sure we can see everybody. Okay, we got y'all. So, y'all can hear me, which is a plus. And you could hear music when I brought that up. That means I'm doing this right. A camera drum. That would actually be awesome. You could mount the little drum with the camera in it right there in your kit. That'd be killer, dude. That'd be fantastic. All right. So we got Liberty Snake. We got Expert John. We got Fellow to See. We got Andrew J. Yeah, I dig it. Who else is in here that I didn't see? No, that was everybody so far. Yeah, I just dropped a link in the Unbearables app, but I didn't have a chance to drop a link in the Hangouts. So if anybody's inclined to drop a link in Hangouts for today, I'd be more than happy. Mr. Nicktown, what's up? You know it. I always give a roll call. I very often do. Yeah, it would be cool, Expert John. I would dig that. Hey, Zach Bugas is up in here. Welcome, Zach. Good to see you, sir. Yeah, I am going to be getting ready. Oh, thank you, Liberty Snake. Appreciate that. That's awesome. I'm getting ready here, as I mentioned in the description, to go play a gig today. One of the bands I work with, the Ashley Bean Band, we're going to go play 3 tunes. I went like this. 3 tunes for a live radio gig for one of the local radio stations in town. And her stuff's all originals. So I guess what the deal is it's a contest, and we're up against like 7 other bands. Whoever wins gets to go to LA and get kind of a deal. And I don't know all the ins and outs of that. I don't particularly think that we're necessarily going to win. I think rhythmically and melodically we've gotten very tight. I think that we can still continue to get better. as a group. We literally just had a new bass player join in last night. It was the only rehearsal we've had with this guy, and then we're going to go play 3 tunes today, or this evening. Hey, Clark Kent, good to see you. Kick ya. Glad you're here. That's the only other new ones I see. Coffee. I was taking a little time before I came in here as well, and not just playing with this. Actually, I didn't take near as much time to get that set up, but I got up and there's water leakage in the basement, so I had to deal with some of that this morning. And my wife had to get out the door a little earlier today. Wanted to take time and do our Bible reading that we do on a daily basis. Inspector Bear, didn't I say your name? If I didn't, forgive me. I was like, I almost thought, I was like, I know I saw him earlier. What's going on here? Maybe not. I was thinking you were trying to pull what my dogs do. Where they, I mentioned this the other day. Best Answers is here. He's gonna give me crap if I don't say their dang name. That's what you start if you get that going. Then everybody's gonna just expect it, right? No, my dogs will, like, I'll feed them in the morning, and if my wife wasn't there when I fed them, then she won't know. Hey, Steve, what's happening, brother? Glad you're here too. My wife won't know that I fed them, so she was like texting me last night. Did they get fed this morning? Because once in a while, one or the other of us will forget. We'll be going through our day and it'll just totally blank. Like, oh, crap, we didn't feed them. So we'll try to feed them like around noon or something like that. Like, okay, yeah, we missed the breakfast meal. They're not going to die. They're dogs, and they get fed plenty when they do get fed. Some people only feed their dogs once a day. You know, it's just the schedule they're on. We try to do twice, so we break up what food they need in a day a little bit. But yeah, they know that we forget sometimes. Like, they're very cognizant of what's going on. They're smart dogs, especially the spectrum dog, Gita, the one that's literally got some degree of autism, I think, right? That's my diagnosis, not a vet's. But and yes, Axbear John, good drummers are absolutely rare. It's why I try to work hard to be at least a decent one. So my dogs, very smart about knowing, you know, that we forget sometimes. So I fed them, but they knew that their mom wasn't home when I fed them. They were trying to play her, like bug her the entire evening. Like, we haven't eaten all day. We're just so hungry. They totally had their breakfast, right? And she was like, they seem like they've been really hungry. And I was like, no, I totally fed them this morning. And not like super early either. And she's like, yeah, that figures. They were totally messing with it. So I kind of figured Inspector Bear was trying to pull one of those on me. Like, say my name, come on. Like, I called you, didn't I? But maybe I didn't. Maybe it was the time where I forgot, so. Kick you, nobody better be calling you that name. That's totally inappropriate. I'll come and stomp on them. I'm going to be calling you that. That's wrong. Unless you act like a person who formerly was trying to run for the presidency in this country. In that case, no, I'm kidding, sort of. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna be playing this gig tonight, and I've got my phone already hooked up with metronome for all the tunes. No, you're fine, Kick. I was just playing. Let's see here. We've got the 3 tunes that we're going to do, but even when we're going to do a full show, I have a metronome that allows you to create playlists of various songs, and so you can set the tempo for those different songs ahead of time. You can even program the click so that it's at different time signatures. You can have different subdivisions that you want it to be at. And I have all the different tempos of the tunes programmed, and then I just have to touch the next one and move to it. So what would be better is if I had a little stand over here that could hold up like an iPad or something like that, and then with a bigger screen I could touch the next one much more easily. It'd be great if I had stuff sequenced. Like once we get a little further along, we're going to try to plan out a much more in-depth show that's theatrical to some degree. And we'll have the whole show sequenced with like backing tracks and other kind of cool stuff like that. And I can trigger all that from the laptop or something like that. have a variety of different ways. At least have the main and then have a backup method to still do the show in case one fails. But we had a big long discussion last night about furthering the careers of that band, of all the people in that band, and how we go about doing that. And I had to give some hard feedback on some things, but it was welcome. Like there's things that I noticed having been around a lot of other different musicians. Being in the military, I met a whole bunch of different really amazing musicians. So like the bar for me musically is set really high. I don't always meet it, and I know it, but I'm one of the first ones to know it when I'm not where I need to be, and I try to put myself around people as often as I can whose bar is higher than mine for where. Good performance level is at, right? So if I didn't perform well, like I'll have someone that can tell me, yeah, you had these issues and you had that issues, but people who will always, well, oh, it's not the word I want, also give me feedback like, you did this good, right? Here's the stuff that you did well, so build on that, right? Keep that stuff up because that's a good thing. You need both. You don't want to just hammer on somebody's like, you totally suck, That's not useful. Like I sit with my students and I let them know, okay, here's things that you're doing that are awesome, that you should keep doing. Like I had a student just the other night. It's like you're playing this little piece that I gave you in a book to work on, and you played through this exercise, this whole like 16 bar thing, and you improved your ability on it. You played it smoothly, cleanly throughout. Really, really good. Big kudos. Awesome improvement. That's great. Now, here's areas for improvement. Not to denigrate anything that you've done, right? But to build on it, right? I want you to grow. So here's how you grow. And we talked about there's one segment of what you're doing where the rhythm isn't quite smooth, right? I don't think you're conceptualizing the rhythm quite the way you need to. And we talked about how it's kind of a crazy thing. Let me, 1 second, I'm going to grab another stick because I might drum something for you here. It's kind of a crazy thing to play music, especially drums, in my opinion. Yeah, I might as well use the roots because I don't need it to be blaring loud where it's killing your ears or anything. So, let's see if I can do this. You can kind of see it better. Drumming can get broken up into, like in modern Western music, I don't even have a clutch on that hi-hat, but it doesn't really matter. These are just some practice cymbals for right now because my other stuff's in the car for the gig tonight. When you take a song, you break that song down into what we call measures, right? For those of you that are familiar with music, you break things into small blocks of time within that song called measures, right? And it's just easier to digest it when it's in those smaller measures. So, typical measure in most Western music is in what we call 4/4 time. That's 4 beats to a measure, and each beat is related to what they call the quarter note, right? A quarter note division or subdivision. So the quarter note is like it's kind of like the meter in metric system. Like the meter's the base unit, and then you can kind of go up or down from there. You've got hectometers and kilometers going up, or you could go down. You've got centimeters, decameters. I think it was decameters, centimeters, and millimeters. Right? I'm probably skipping something going on the upscale there between meters, hectometers, and kilometers. There's probably something else in there that I'd forgotten. But, at any rate, so you've got your quarter note, right? But to measure a whole measure, an entire measure of 4/4 time, 4 beats, in a measure, you can encapsulate those 4 beats in a single note we call a whole note, right? It's like a big circle, those that you know that. Then you could divide a whole note in half and have 2 half notes, right? And they're like an empty circle with a stem sticking off the top of it. So I'm trying to see if I can do that. Like, yeah, half note, right? You could have 2 of those in a measure of 4/4 time. You could divide each of those half notes into 2 quarter notes, right? So you could have a total of 4 quarter notes in a measure, right? And those quarter notes can then get subdivided. So that's what we were talking about, was how you can further subdivide quarter notes. And the simplest way is to think, okay, well, I'm going to play quarter notes, right? 1, 2, 3, that's at a nice slow tempo playing the quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. But what if I wanted to play at the same in the same space of time and play 8 notes, right? I could play eighth notes, right? Divide each of those quarter notes into 2 pieces and have 8 fractions dividing up my measure instead of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a quarter note. Now 8 notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Well, we could also further subdivide that into triplets, right? So each quarter note divided into 3 parts. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right? You keep dividing it, subdividing it into smaller parts. It's still the same frame of time. It's just broken up differently, different fractions. Now straight to 30 seconds, right? No. No, we do quarter. The next one would be 16th notes. So quarter, 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 quarter. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right? That's 16th notes, the last one there. Taka taka 1 and 2 and. But you could subdivide those even further. Usually people would go on to the doubling of triplets, which they call sextuplets, right? And beyond that, you go to 32nd notes. That's typically what we do, right? We have your 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we could do something like sextuplets. Like, it's just the doublings of triplets. Whereas 16ths are the doublings of 8 notes, right? You know, you have the quarter note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the 8 notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then there was the 16th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. They're just twice as fast as the 8 notes because you're dividing each 8 note into 2. Whereas the triplet's a different animal. You're trying to stick 3 notes in the place of where there were 2, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's your quarters. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 4 right? That's sextuplets, right? Going between triplets and sextuplets. So 1 and 2, and it's the 8th notes right here. 1 ta ta 2 ta ta 3 ta ta 4 ta ta. That's your that would be your sextuplets, right? And I see you, Hacks Fair. That's hilarious, man. I could, but let's see here. 1, 2. I'm gonna blow the mics out, man. It's just gonna get destroyed. I'm not ready for that yet. My mics cannot handle that. But if I went like this, right? There's spaces in between the 16th notes and the sextuplets that we don't often do, right? The quintuplets, right, are groupings of 5, right? And so you've got to stick 5 notes in the space where you were either sticking 4 or 6, right? So you have quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and triplet, 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 16, 16, 16, 16. See how I go back and forth? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have to speed it up just a little bit, right? It just takes a little bit to make that into quintuplets. Just like going from 8 notes to triplets, it's just a little bit faster, right? Yeah, and the higher the number, the less of a shift, you know, the less of that little bit faster you have to get to make those odd subdivisions, right? And you can do the same thing with 7s, right? Like, because we have the sextuplets. I'll try to go from quarters all the way up to septuplets, which would be the 7th divisions, right? See if I can do this one at a time. So quarter, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 ta ta 2 ta ta 3 ta ta 4 ta ta 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5. So I think that's septuplets. That's harder to do. Oh. 1 2 3 4 5 can't hear it as clearly because I'm wearing headphones and all that kind of stuff right now. So, and then the next step up is what we call 30-second notes, and that is something that's very more commonly used. The next subdivision beyond septuplets, right? And I could do that. So we do it all the time, and what we usually call the double stroke rolls, doing 2 strokes on each hand. I don't want to drop this. 2 strokes on each hand. So we started as like quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, 8 note, 8 note, 8 note, 8 note. That's tough. There's your 30-second notes. That's like double the speed of the 16ths, right? That's I was messing up on that because it's weirder to do it with the roots. I haven't practiced that as much. That makes a huge difference, right? Roots are not regular sticks, but I don't want to blow the mic out on this. It's not set for that. So yeah, there's all these different little ways you can divide up a single measure of time, right? A measure of music. And I was trying to get this idea across to the student the other day, like, this is what you're capable of. This is what is possible, right? I'm still trying to delve into it and understand it all. I mean, most of the time, right, the vast majority of the work I do sticks around in the 4/4, and I don't get much higher than the 16th notes. Occasionally I use 30-second notes because I'm doing a roll or something like that. And in rolls, where I'm doing 2 strokes per hand, you can get a lot faster with those and stick in those things where they're appropriate, right? But a lot of times it's stuff like this. And I'll bring it back down so you can see. So that's a little example of what I normally will be doing, is grooves that stay around in that area. Well, thanks, man. Thanks, John. I appreciate it. No, I'm, thanks, Kick ya. By the way, feel free to send a tip if you want to at PayPal. Go buy Pinder's Big Ugly Mug. That would also be good. Yes, I will do that. I do write lyrics, and I was actually talking about that fellow to see a couple days ago. Like, I couldn't sleep. I think the episode was titled, I forget. It was a few days ago, and I stayed up too late and went to bed. And I was having trouble when I actually went downstairs to sleep. Having trouble actually falling asleep. So there's a window in my bedroom there, and I could see like one star out that window. Everything else was dark, and it was just sort of slightly obscured by the trees, but just enough where it was. I was looking at this star, and it was almost like it was looking back at me. And I started picking up my phone, and it was like, I've got lyrics coming out of my head. I have to write something down. So I had like 2.5 verses written before I fell asleep. I woke up in the morning before I did the stream. I wrote another half verse plus a bridge lyrically, right? That's all done. And yesterday I was trying to get more done on the melody, you know, trying to figure out how I want that line to go. I think I've got the chord progression figured out pretty well for that one. But it's just this week I've written some lyrics, and I'm already trying to flesh that out as a song. So yeah, I write stuff all the time. I've just got a lot of stuff that's not even begun the recording process on. It's just a lot of stuff that's jotted down. So I have to get that started. I always get sidetracked to so many other things because I'm a dad of 4 kids. This is not excuses. This is just reality. I am a husband. I have an ex-wife. I have this house. We have my current wife's other house back up north that she's still renting out. Yeah, and I'll definitely share some of those fellow DC. By the way, Steve, I just saw that. Thank you. I'll look forward to the chunk picture. That will be fun. I'll be excited to get that started. I may start it on Sunday. I'll probably go ahead and start it Sunday if you send it to me tonight. Just in appreciation of Shabbat and Shaloming. But yeah, I'll definitely get that link up there for you getting a shirt, right? Putting my children before my music, what is that? I'm also, I teach several students, not nearly as many as I'd like to be. I'm wanting to start getting more online students, you know, one-on-one video lessons that I'd like to be doing. I've done a number of them with several of my students that I meet in person, but I'd like to start getting some more digital lessons because it's more efficient. I can teach more people that way. And I'm going to want to put out like a series of downloadable video lessons, right, that really teach you the fundamentals of drumming, but also music theory. And I mean, I'll probably delve into different topics, but it'll be like a comprehensive thing. Like, these are a lot of things that if you want to get started in music, you need to know. And from there, you'll then have a basis to ask really intelligent questions, right? That's the idea. So I want people to be able to seek out more self-education by knowing what kinds of things to be looking for. If they don't even know what to be looking for, they're not going to be pursuing it. So I want to encourage that in the way I teach. So that's the thing. I need to finish writing. Hey, hell yeah, welcome in. Yeah, you just missed some drumming. You need to get your bottom in gear and get in here, huh? I said bottom. I'm such an old man. Here, hell yeah, just for you. I filled you in. I played a fill and came right in. That crash was way too far away. Let me get a better 7. Yeah, it's garbage. Hang on. My floor tom because I've got my phone and stuff sitting on there right now, but it's inhibiting a little bit. But yeah, that's what you were missing out on. I was drumming and doing all kinds of fun stuff. Yeah, man, I've grown up on Rush. I've grown up on Dream Theater. I've grown up on Steve Vai. Just to give you an idea, That's where I started out. And then I got into Bela Fleck and the Fleck tones. Shoot, what other crazy words? I started getting exposed to jazz a little bit in my teenage years, and I discovered monster drummers like Peter Erskine, who I got to meet and who publicly shamed me. Uh, for those of you that have not heard my Peter Erskine public shaming story, I'd be glad to share that right now. Those of you who don't know, Peter Erskine was, this is his signature drumstick from Vic Firth, one of my favorites of all time, the Peter Erskine Ride Stick. Always loved this stick. It's got that nice little tiny tip, pointed tip, and it's just got boom. Ah. Don't drop it, right? Peter Erskine shamed me in public, and I'm always grateful for this. Sadly, he's like a far lefty now, but still love his drumming. Still an amazing character. This was several years ago. I was 13 years old, so this was almost 22. It was 22 plus years ago now. Went to a drum clinic, which is, they basically, like, you'll have different virtuosos or whoever they are, like professionals on a particular instrument that will play for you and do like a group lesson in a sense, right? A skinhead string. Yeah, no, I used to have the hair. I kind of let it go just because it's been hot and uncomfortable, and so I let it go for a while. Plus, I'm losing it right here anywho, man, so I don't know. I've been giving thoughts back and forth. Should I just keep it like this and let it do its thing? Plus, it's cheap. Right? You're fine. Hell yeah. You're cracking me up. No, it costs nothing to just buzz, right? It's just whatever the electric cost is to plug in my clippers. But so went to this clinic. A mentor from my church took me as a kid there. We went and saw this guy, and he was mind-blowingly good. Mind-blowingly good. Jazz guy. Introduced me to a lot of stuff I wasn't familiar with yet. Wasn't really into the jazz stuff as much at that time. I mean, I played drums in jazz band, but what we did wasn't jazz. It was a little jazz, but it was something else. There was a little more rock element to it. It's simplified. And so I got to see this guy, and he's just smoking good. Just amazing. Had some great things to teach us. It was a point at which he did 2 solos for us. He played 2 different solos, and one was just a real straight ahead, like rooting everything to the hi-hat, which I can't do because I don't have a clutch on my hi-hat to make it go up and down right now. Like he'd stomp the hi-hat, the 2 cymbals that come together for those that don't know, and he'd use those 2 cymbals clapping together on beats 2 and 4, just real straight ahead, and he'd keep the jazz swing beat on his ride cymbal. This big honker over here. Hey, cable's getting snagged. I want to do that. Yeah, this big guy. Right? But he probably went a little faster than that. Yeah, real quick, real straight ahead, and the timing was solid, and that was the whole thing. It was tasteful, right? Just little licks here and there that embellished the music, kind of moved it forward, stuff like that. And everybody clapped after that. That was solo A. Then he played solo B, right? And solo B was all over the place. I mean, he was playing across bar lines, across measure lines and stuff, just doing odd time signatures, but still fitting it into the 4/4 of the jazz, and coming back to that all the time at different points. And it was awesome. I mean, it's the stuff that drummers love to listen to. It just blows your mind so good. Like, I'm on Adderall right now. Look at that. I'm not really. It's just funny to say that. But it was amazing. And so everybody's just like hooting and hollering and clapping after that's done. I turn to the guy, the mentor guy who brought me along. I look at him and go, I like B better. I whisper to him, I like B better, yeah. And as soon as the clapping dies down, Erskine stands up in front of his drum set. He's like, "Who said I like B better? Who said that? I heard that. Who said I like B better?" I was like, "Oh crap! Oh crap!" He heard me. Nobody's raising their hand, but I raised my hand. I'm like, "It was me." And he's like, "Come up here, young man. Come up here." And he's already an older guy, like in his 40s or 50s by the point this is going on. Maybe it wasn't 50s. Maybe it was just because I don't think he's in his 70s now, is he? I don't know. He's getting up there. But he says, "Come on up here, young man." And he says, "I want you to stand there. And I want you to act like you're playing an upright bass. You know, the jazz double, the big double bass, right? I want you to act like you're plucking the strings on the double bass. Just quarter notes, right? So you're plucking quarter notes, just walking a bass line. Boom, 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 boom. Just walk your bass line, right? Nice, even, smooth quarter notes. That's what you're going to be pretending to do. Now I'm going to play solo A. Ready? Boom, boom, you know, real simple, real straightforward. All right, now B, right? All over the place, and I'm trying to I'm lost, I'm gone. I have no idea what's happening. I'm just mesmerized. And he stops, and he says, "Okay." And everybody's clapping and everything again. Which one was it easier for you to play along with in your imaginary bass playing? A. Let that be a lesson 2. Go sit down. So, yeah, I got taught a very important lesson that day. And I tell all my students, that's the most important thing. I've told them that story several times, and I'm super grateful for that, right? And I didn't even halfway understand who this guy was when I was a kid. I just knew he was an awesome drummer I got to go see. Then I start learning about all these things about Peter Erskine as I get older. Like, no, never forgot that. That was probably one of the more defining moments in my life. When this guy told me, you know, that's what's up. Keep good time. And I'm already being heavily influenced by Rush and Dream Theater and all these monster octopus drummers. Terry Bozzio from Missing Persons in UK and Frank Zappa. I mean, that's the kind of folks that Terry played with. And now he plays solo stuff, right? He's been doing that for a while. But he's this monster drum kit, Terry Bozzio, this crazy weird dude. 9 bass drums, like 30 plus tom-toms, and like 60 or 70 different cymbals in his setup. And he'll play melodies with his right hand, bass lines with his left, or vice versa. I think I said that backwards. And then weird rhythmic patterns between different hi-hats. He's got hi-hats made out of China cymbals and stuff, the weird inverted stuff. And he'll be doing that between his feet, like or just crazy, weird, odd time patterns. And he plays melodies and bass lines and stuff over top of that. Unbelievable. But growing up through all of that, I still never forget this lesson that Peter Erskine taught me. And the most important lesson is you got to keep time. As much as you might not like it, that's the drummer's job. Good, solid timekeeping. And it's taken me better part of the last 20-some years to learn that. Yeah, I've been playing drums since I was 11 or 12. And so it's getting closer to 25 years. Not quite there. I'll be 36 this year. I'm getting old. If you can play with other people, yeah, that's what I tell them all. I'll bring, when I teach drums, I'll bring a bass or a guitar with me, or a hand drum or something like that. When I'm teaching a bass student, I usually bring a guitar. Like yesterday, I brought a djembe drum to one of my bass students' lessons, you know, and a little hand drum. And I was teaching them what it was like to play along with another person. Right? I always want them to have that concept of playing along with others. And I say play along with albums because most of my early education, self-education, was playing along to Rush albums, right? I could play, like the first tune I learned to play, right? You probably recognize this. first example, right? Of all of that kind of stuff was that song is what made me want to play drums. Hearing that song for the first time. And so I've had to be learning that over and over again. Or Spirit of the Radio. Spirit of the Radio intro. So those are the kind of things that I was playing growing up, right? That was the stuff that was my introduction to drumming. I'm really interested to listen back to this later and see how much you actually heard and how much was just noise. But that kind of stuff has some complexity to it. There's lots of little details going on in there. So, yeah, let's see. My soy sipping woman. I'll let you be the judge of that, Axe Bear. Yeah, there's a little bit of a double kick in there. Have you ever done In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins? I have 2 toms. I don't have like 7 right now, but I could fake it. I could fake a little Phil. Fake the Phil. Yeah, I can't do it. Well, I'd have to listen to the tune again. It's been a long time. Yeah, that's a fun one. That is a good one. I'm very, very familiar with that one. That's like, it's become like an anthem for a lot of drummers. Like, you gotta know that one, man. Let's see here. Suck on that. Guys are killing me, man. So, over time here, my goal for this stream, by the way, is to get a camera that I can not have hooked directly to the laptop, and you can see me. It'll be up above, so you can see the whole kit, and the overall tone should be better in here. Smoke on the Water. Yeah, I'd have to think about that one. I'd have to think about it because it's been a while. Is that the da ba 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 da ba 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 ba? That's not Smoke on the Water, is it? Maybe I'm mixing my songs up. Because I'm always going to think of like the way that Jack Black taught it to those kids in School of Rock. You know, he's like, here, play it on the tom tom. No, that's too George of the Jungle. Play it on the cymbal. Yeah. All right. Da 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 da. Just being silly. So yeah, that's about what I do with that because I haven't listened to the actual tune for a long time. It's been too long. Hey Shayla Maiden, welcome. Good to see you. Oh yeah, Smoke on the Water. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, it was, and it was appropriate that Jack Black was using that to teach kids rock. School of Rock. Raise your goblet of rock. Rock. So yes, Rockin' tonight. I'd like to play just a snippet, and I think if it's short, I don't get a copyright strike or anything. But I am the drummer for the band, so I think it's all right. Ashley Bean stuff that we're going to be playing tonight. Like, here's the intro to one of the tunes that we're going to be doing. Just give you guys a little taste of it. If I can find it, I had a whole directory of it here somewhere. Where did I put it? There it is. All right. What You Deserve. This is her hit single. You can pick it up. Early Mastodon. Yeah, that's what I got to get into now. Let's see here. Here's a little bit of what we're going to play tonight. I'm just going to give you a taste of that. I'll see if it'll come up on the thing here. If this blows your ears out, tell me right away. So that's a little bit of What You Deserve, a tune that we're going to be playing tonight. I'm going to see now if YouTube's going to pick that up in the algorithms. So be like, oh, copyright infringement. But I'm pretty sure they won't because, if they do, then we just call them and say, I'm the drummer for the band. I should be able to play this. Yeah, like I played a little bit of music. Like, okay, so I took the phone and I held the phone up to the microphone on the laptop so you could hear the music. This was like at the top of the week or at the end of last week. I can't remember which. And so that, the YouTube algorithms were able to pick it up and say, you're playing copyrighted music, and knew the name of the song, it knew all the details of that song from Harold Green. And then I guess his distributor, CD Baby, was the one who was notified about that. And then they said, okay, well, we'll allow you to use that in your video, but we get to place ads on your video and collect revenue from those ads. So just saying, that's fair play. You can either agree with that or not. So it allowed it, but it just has that notification on my video from then on. Like, that's got copyrighted stuff in it. So I think the limit is like 30 seconds or something like that, and without it being an infringement or something for fair use. But I don't know. I don't know what they'll say. I can always challenge it. It'll just be a new stage in my YouTube development dealing with that stuff. So a little bit of that. And she's got another tune called Halloween that we're going to get into a little bit, which is kind of fun. I'll see if I can find the spot in there and just play a snippet of that. Let's see here. Let's see. Uh-oh. Hang on. Phone's messing up. There you go. Yeah, it should be fun. It should be fun doing some of these. There's a bunch of cool tunes that we get to do. Yeah, if we do them well, it's blowing my mind that we're going to play these with like one rehearsal with the new bass player. Yeah, I'm totally going to live stream tonight, Inspector. That's the plan. Hopefully I have signal over there. The town where we're going to be playing at, it's close to here. And it's notorious for sometimes having poor signal, but hopefully I'll have good quality signal there, or I can tap into their Wi-Fi or whatever the case may be. Axfair, I'm glad to hear that, man. I mean, shoot, I've been doing this for getting close to 25 years, and I'm trying to make myself better and better all the time. And the biggest thing I could say is hang around people who are way better than you. Like, find people who are knowledgeable, that know how to articulate what they're doing, not just can play good and stuff. Like, look for, like, classically, professionally trained people, and look for people of various different genres than what you normally play, because it's gonna blow your mind, right? It's gonna get you, like, totally pumped. I have friends that are, like, theory geniuses above and beyond what I'll ever be, and yet it pushes me to, like, get better. Like my good buddy Harold Green. Zach knows about this a little bit. Cause I don't know if Zach, have you even met Harold yet? But you met Randy. You know, you had Randy come in and play bass on the Woolly Hoof stuff, and so you know a little bit about that. I mean, both those guys are theory monsters. And Harold would tell, I think Randy would say the same thing. You should be analyzing everything you listen to. If you're a musician and you have basic theory knowledge, enough that you understand how to write out chord progressions and think of them in terms of like diatonic chord progressions, like in Roman numerals or whatever. Work out the functioning chord progression. Even just get the letter names of each chord, right? The chord names. Yeah, I thought you maybe hadn't. Zach, let me think here. Yeah, you want to get like the chord name of each chord that you're hearing in a progression written out like at a minimum, but then think about how it functions, right? If you can understand how chords function and get that far along and write out just your simple chord progression in Roman numerals, in the way we tend to do it in the music biz, then you can transpose that song almost immediately into any other key. I'm going to give you an example real quick. Hang on one second. I need to grab my guitar. And I'm going to have to plug in a laptop because I'm about to die here. That ain't good. So let's see if I can make this work here. This is a crazy, crazy workaround. All right, cool. Bingo. Not going to lose you guys. All right, so here's the deal. I'm going to grab my Git fiddle. I'm going to try and embarrass myself thoroughly right here and oh, stepped on something, it hurt. Play something. I'm going to try to play a tune and then transpose it for you. So, all right. Let's see. If I played... oh, you're Illinois-based, huh, Best Answers? Wait, cool. I am in Illinois. I'm in central Illinois, in fact. A little D7 right there. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Bear bands would be a cool thing, right? Different chapters of bear bands. Yeah. That's my poor attempt at roundabout right here. I was trying to get the roundabout groove. It's hammer-ons. Yeah, and that pull off there. No, I gotta get that C. That's a tough one to do. A, B, D, E. Just to get that little line going there, but with bear clubs. Yeah, so I don't know how many of the bears that are Owen Benjamin bears, right, within that group are aware that there's this whole other group of bears that are like actual gay bikers, right? It's like a gay motorcycle gang, the bears, and that's apparently a thing. So I guess it's a term for, it's not just exclusively motorcyclists, but it's like very furry, heavier set gay men. Apparently, I didn't know that was a thing until a while back, and I never connected it with our bears, right? But you know, apparently furries think that, well, and that's probably because of the way I put things in my description, because I said looking for more non-furry fun. You can check out my social media. That probably drew in a couple of the furries when they searched for this. That's true. We're not the gay motorcyclists. Yes, term for a hairy gay male. Yes. So, what was I trying to say? So, let's say I have a simple chord progression. So it's just E, and then A, and then B. So, in the E major scale, right? The E major scale, I've talked about major scale and how you form those a number of times in streams before. In this case, E major would be E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and E. There's your E major scale, right? Now, the fourth note of E major is E, F sharp, G sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. There's your A, it's your fourth. And your fifth is B, right? If you were to create major chords, right, major three-note chords based off of, starting from the fourth and fifth scale degrees of that scale, then you'd end up with an A major chord based off the fourth one. So the E is what we call the one chord in the key of E major. And then the 4 chord is A, because A is the fourth note of the scale. And then B is the fifth, so we call the B the fifth chord. So we've got a 1, 4, 5, 4 progression here. There's a little 1, 4, 5, 4 progression. Right, now, let's bring that into the key of F. So what's the key of F major? F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F, right? There's your F major scale. So 1 is F, and then 4 would be B flat. There's your B flat, and then your 5 is C, right? So we've got to play the chords F major, B flat, and C. So now I've got this same chord progression, a 1, 4, 5, 4 progression, but I just transposed it up a half step from E to F, right? Right? So I can very easily, when I think of things in terms of the diatonic chord progressions, what chord, how the chord functions, right? Then I can take that song and I can do more things with it, right? I can add something to it. I can add some interest in there. I could play it in E, A, B again. I can make that a little more interesting. I could put that C sharp minor chord here. What is C sharp in the key of E major? C sharp is your 6, right? So your 6 chord, when you build chords out of a particular scale, your 6 chord traditionally is going to be a minor almost every time. Like the natural chord you would pull out of just using notes to build this triad, starting from the 6th note of the scale. Just using notes within that scale, you're going to get a minor chord if you start from the 6th and build a chord off just scale degrees. So I'd have a 1 chord, the E, and then a C sharp minor, and then my 4 chord, A, and then a 5 chord, B, right? So I could take that same progression and change that into a different key. I could take F, and then I could play it up here. So I have that's that B flat, and then the C, right? F. So that would be D minor, is what I've moved to, because D is the 6th of F, right? Of F major, D is the 6th. Whoops, that was in my C sharp minor. So now I've changed this whole progression. I've just added one new chord, and the chord progression sounds nicer a little bit. It sounds fuller by adding that minor chord in there. It gives it some tension, right? Instead of just having 3 different major chords I play back and forth between, adding that minor chord adds in a little bit more interest and tension to the whole thing. So because I understand the structure of how that original chord progression was designed, I can easily insert just one other little thing, a little minor chord, right, built off the 6th scale degree. Now my whole progression is just that much more cool, right? Just more interesting, draws you in. As you can see, guitar is not my first instrument, so I'm struggling a little bit there. But I pretend to play guitar on television or on YouTube. That's pretty much what it is. There's your G major right there. I wanted a low D, and I'm not tuned for it. I have to reorient my entire mind when I do that drop D tuning. Ooh, that could be a cool prog riff. That was a little riff I remember from a tune by P.O.D., Payable on Death. I'm not playing the full song, but I'm just recalling that riff. It was called Southtown by P.O.D. off of their, what was that album? It was a really, really cool album. One of the first ones I ever heard from them. If anybody remembers P.O.D. They were basically like a very Christian, like, I think they'd call it like hardcore kind of band, or I don't know exactly what genre they'd fit into, but they were pretty intense. They were mixing rock with rap and different stuff like that. Was kind of fun. They just introduced me to a world that I wasn't familiar with, but they'd been coming out for years to this like music festival that they had here in Illinois called Cornerstone. They did for years and years and years, and they played at Cornerstone. Let's see here. I missed something. Holes in their octaves? What? I missed something. New metalish? Yeah, I think that might be fair to say. So, oh, there it is. So where did y'all go? What was that whole business? Who said something about a hole in the octaves? Chapters in different cities. Barapalooza. Bear gloves. Yeah, let's see. Enjoy Not Soy. Day Trippers. That's a good tune. I missed that. Okay. This helps out singers with holes in their... Okay, that's what that joke was about. Actually, holes in singers' octaves. Some singers, if they get out of range, will have holes in certain notes within an octave, depending upon the song. Yeah. Okay. So what Best Answers is talking about, he's right. Singers, if they don't have good training and they're not in shape vocally, they can do that. And I can do that. I can try to sing certain octaves, and if I'm doing something that's not comfortable in my range, I can like hit a note where I can't hold on to that nicely, and I'll have to skip over it almost. I won't be able to maintain a particular note. So I kind of know what he's talking about, and there's more to it too. But yeah, it sounds weird to say that. You got a hole in your octave. What's going on there? Let's see if I can pretend to do this tune. Yeah. No. That's a tough one. Hey Charity, how you doing? Hey, no stairway. Denied. Whoa, dude, no stairway. Yeah, I can't be playing that. I'm gonna get. I wonder what kind of copyright infringements I'm gonna get today. They're gonna come in here. They're gonna be like, "Oh, you played this and you played that. Come on, you can't do that. Can't be having that. Besides, you're a bear. One of those Owen Benjamin people. Clearly can't be on social media. That's unacceptable." I'm gonna get what jitskied. So funny. I wonder if they have like an algorithm that like scans through the whole video and listens for flag words like what jitskied. That'd be funny. Yeah, exactly. If I was Jimmy and I stole it, then that'd be different, right? If I had a bustle in my hedgerow, I could probably rip that. You know what I mean? Really? Have you been like just sticking it to the man there, Axe Bear? You just been telling him like, I'm gonna say what I want. Don't tell me. Let's see. 30-day jailing. Wow. Where do you live, man? Like state-wise. Just out of curiosity, if you can say. If not, that's cool. I was just curious. Like I wondered if you were. I know you're not. You're not Brandon Axe Bear. Right on, man. That's appropriate. That's a good thing. Yeah, I'm asking John Axe Bear. Like what the deep state. That's awesome. Yeah, I was just curious. I know you're not Canadian. You're not Brandon Axe Bear. You're the different one. North Dakota. Oh wait, no, that's the South Dakota commercial. South Dakota. You ever seen one of those? I used to get commercials for South Dakota all the time here, and be some dude like just passionately singing it, and yeah, like it's Lee Greenwood singing, and I'm proud to be an American or something. It was kind of funny. So you're in that neck of the woods of Minot, huh? I know where that business is at. Or you're probably decent distance away. I mean, I just know North Dakota as being very north and cold. But I know plenty of people that are from around that area that had to go to Minot, Air Force Cats. Other side of the state, right on. Oh, Fargo. I thought Fargo was Minnesota. That's funny. I never realized. I always thought Fargo was Minnesota. Yeah. I guess that's your friend there in the wood chipper, huh? Totally appropriate death for Steve Buscemi. Yeah, I would have no doubt. Fracking, man. It's the sunniest state in the country. I did not know that. I did not know that. I'm assuming you're correct. Hello, Charity. Are you is that any of that intriguing? Do you ever get into issues about fracking and other things, Charity? You familiar with any of that discussion? People quote that movie when I tell them I'm in Fargo. Well, of course. I mean, it's Fargo. How could they not? Yeah, it's getting to be 10:30, and I started this before 9:30, so I'm getting past my hour. But I got to get this kit torn down because I got to go and walk a dog for my beautiful lady. Oh, I was just asking you, Charity, if you were familiar with any of the debates on this idea of hydraulic fracturing. And I know there's been a lot of negative talk about it, but there's also been a lot of really good stuff shared about it. There was a film, I think it was done a while back, called Frack Nation that had a lot of information about the whole debate about hydraulic fracturing, and that it's been basically like a godsend in terms of energy availability here in the States, kind of helping us get to a point of energy independence. Definitely something to look into if you haven't heard about it. We bears talk about interesting, weird stuff, but us non-furry bears. I'm not as furry as I once was. You know what I mean? Yes, Alex Epstein, The Moral Case for Fossil Fuels. Definitely a worthwhile thing to get a hold of. No. Have I been sent emails that I was unaware of? I have not read them. Hang on, I'm going to go find out about that. We're going to get into the Big Drum Bear mailbag today. You know what? I haven't refreshed it. That's why I didn't know. Okay, I'm going to try not to dox you like I doxed Kikya one time. Oh, cool. Okay. The mobile gulag's in here. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't watched any of these yet. Boy. You have to remake all of your YouTube videos upside down. That's kind of funny. And not funny at the same time. Huh. I'm just seeing that for the first time, so thank you for sharing. I will definitely dig into that. And let me see here, because I need the... Let's see here. All right, where'd my... Uh-oh, that's not what I want. I lost the chat. Hang on a second. It's here. There it is. I know it was around here somewhere. Cool. Yeah. Who sent that? Best Answers did? Cool. I appreciate that. Yeah. So, Kikya, I figured out how not to dox people by making sure I don't read their name when I read their email. Oh, ridiculousness. Yeah, I'm going to have to dig into that stuff. That's pretty cool. No, I don't believe you were being hyperbolic, John. And I welcome some hyperbole. Hyperbole is always welcome here, to a degree. I mean, within reason, right? We don't want to go crazy hyperbole. But a decent amount of squirreling every now and then is appropriate because it tests my ability to stay on target, you know? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here after a bit. I'm glad I could share some drumming with you guys and talk about some fun stuff today. I'm going to tear this whole thing down, and the cymbals get to stay here because they're just for me to use when I'm back here practicing. Like these really cool. It's like a Sabian like bottom hi-hat, and this is an old Zildjian hat, which probably needs the the hole to be widened a little bit on it because it doesn't sit on the cymbal seat for the hi-hat very well. But yeah, that's something I'm going to have to dig into. I've got all my good stuff in the car, my Saludas. By the way, if you're into drums, you want to check out a really good cymbal company, Saluda Cymbals, at salutacymbals.com or at drumgearonline.com. You want to check them out. They're awesome. And it's just amazing as a company because they custom design anything you can imagine. I mean, they're just super cool. And their prices are like a fraction of what the big boys are. They're really, really reasonable folks over there. You want to get a hold of Jamie. Jamie's the guy that owns that company and does a fantastic job with it. So check out Saluda. They're amazing. But yeah, I wish, man. I'd love to be sponsored by Saluda, but I think I have to get some more gigs. Like, I have to be playing more regularly in order for them to give me any kind of deal like that. So I'm going to keep plugging and try to get more awesome. That's pretty much all I can do. But yeah, I'd love to have like even one free cymbal from them because I could totally add a nice 17-inch crash to my setup. Would be great. That'd be pretty amazing. Yeah, that's when I figure is I have enough of an audience out there. You know, it makes sense, and I'd be using them every show. I'd be like, yep, by the way, sponsored by Saluda Cymbals. Go check them out. If you drum it, they will come. That's great. I love that. I love that. All right, so go check out Pinder's Ugly Mug if someone wants to post a link for that here or in the comment section of this video. Pinder, you're welcome to do that. Feel free to leave an ad for your Pinder's Ugly Mug. It's only $14.99 through teespring.com. Go check that out now because if you're going to have coffee in the morning, it's great to have coffee, you know, in, like, this is a Star Trek mug. You know, it says "We are the Borg." I think somebody got it from me a while back. And being a Star Trek nerd, that's fine. But, I mean, if you want to be reminded that you're not as ugly as Pinder, then, you know, it's good to have that. It's good for your self-esteem in the morning. If you want to be reminded that you're not a shekel-hungry, weather-controlling, gullet-wearing Jew, and somebody else is, and you look way better than they do, get the Pinder Ugly Mug to keep that in the forefront of your mind. It'll do you well. And your kosher nutrient absorption from the cup will go up by 44% when you drink from the Pinder Ugly Mug, allegedly. So, and that's as I understand it. Feel free, pick that up. Oh, thanks, Kiki, for posting that, for sure. Definitely need to get a hold of that right away. If any of you are not subscribers to Steve Pinder's channel, which I don't suspect many of you are, I don't suspect many of you haven't done that yet, be sure to do that. Mugly. It's obvious and yet it's perfect. I didn't think of it at all. That's good, John. It's not the mug you need, but it's the mug you deserve. It's not the mug I am underneath, but the mug that I do that defines me. I don't know if you want to do that, mug. I'm sorry, that's not the right way to say that. I didn't think it through. I should have scripted that. When you drink from the Pinder's Ugly Mug, you probably have to talk like this. If it's the mug you deserve. At any rate, Mucinex Batman and I will be signing off here. Be sure once I get it up and running, the Love Chunk or You're a Commie t-shirt will be available. The Chunkwavara shirts, as I will title them. Endorsing Big Drum Bear's YouTube channel. Feel free to get one, and then when you go see Owen live, feel free to wear your shirt. Let other bears know, hey, there's a good, fun musical YouTube channel out there they can come in and have fun with. Today I'm going to play you out with a little bit of my own music. Sort of my own. I was making this tune with some of the guys from Iraq that I worked with, and I think it's fun. It was... No, you know what? I did that one recently. Maybe I'll do that next week. What I will do right now is this one called a dope drop. I think that's what this one is. So I'll play you out with a little fun beat that I put together recently. It's a ringtone that I kind of created, so you guys enjoy that. Until next time, engage your heart. Excuse me, engage your mind. Engage your heart. Engage your body. Saw it all out of order. Seek to serve the ultimate purpose. Peace to you, bears.